Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, Triple H wants to make WrestleMania shorter, and the wrestlers aren't too happy about that.
WWE's major changes for Mania for the likes of Cody, Rhodes and more have been revealed.
Got the latest on Kenny Omega, WWE interest, no interest, middle interest. Let's find out.
And I'm going to tell you all the plans that WWE had for Davey Boy Smith Jr. I'm Adam Wilborn.
That was really weird, wasn't it, when they signed him in the middle of the pandy?
Yeah, did we find out about it by him doing like a backstage interview? Anyway, this is the news.
What a strange scenario. First story of the day. Triple H wants WrestleMania to be a bit smaller this year.
What is this, a WrestleMania for Eds?
It says wrestlingnews.co, and this may not have sat particularly well with talent. So WrestleMania 39, which takes place, of course, on the 1st and 2nd of April, Triple H wants to make it a smaller card. Now, as a consequence of this, bunch of wrestlers who've been on TV every week this year are not going to make the show. They're going to be hanging out backstage and catering, as the sentence goes. WWE doesn't currently plan on booking a Battle Royal for WrestleMania, which is part of this. Battle Royal would have like 30, 40 people in it. That means 30, 40 people suddenly not on the card. And there's currently no word on whether or not those Battle Royals, the Andre and the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, no word on whether or not they'll be on TV yet either.
Yeah, they sometimes do them on like the SmackDown before, don't they?
Yeah, they sometimes throw them down there. This means that only a small handful of talent are actually going to be on WrestleMania 39. Now, specifically, talents are unhappy about WrestleMania slots potentially being occupied by legends and celebrities. No legends or celebrities have been announced so far, but Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul will be a thing soon, you'd imagine.
And Cena Theory seems to be probable as well.
There you go. Although it's hard to really get angry about John Cena being on the show, I think. Anyway, WWE's plans could, of course, conceivably change between now and Mania, but as of right now, the talent that WrestlingNews.co spoke to, we're not too happy.
Yeah, I get their frustrations, but I think this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing, to quote DDP, because...
in his best era.
Yes. Because, I don't need... I love a Battle Royal, me, but it's just a bit like... it doesn't really mean out, does it? Let's be perfectly honest. Even the, like... we used to think initially, he's won the Andre the Giant. Maybe that's just a throwaway thing for the night. They've never followed up on. You rarely benefit from it. You sometimes get to carry the trophy around on telly for a few weeks, basically. And make WrestleMania more exclusive. Make it feel like something you have to work. My only thing is, and I'm really worried this isn't going to be the case, especially with a certain development on Monday Night Raw tonight, which we'll no doubt talk about more on the Raw Preview podcast, WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. My only concern is WrestleMania in Los Angeles may be hosted by The Miz rather than the obvious choice, LA Knight. Thoughts?
What?
I'm worried LA Knight's not going to get on the call, but also not be host. Have him be host.
Yeah, he's at least a bit more electric than The Miz, I think, at this stage in his career. I think that from a viewer's standpoint, for me, right, a shorter show's good. Like, I like shorter pay-per-views. I'm that guy.
And we were at 35.
Yeah, we were at 35, all 35 hours of it. So, like, from my perspective, I would like 2 3-hour shows. I'm into that. But if I'm a wrestler and I work hard and I don't get on the card, I too would be a bit like, that's a bummer. But I would probably try and use it as fuel to work super hard and try and get there next year. If we believe WWE is a meritocracy, I'm not quite sure we're at the phase where we can say that yet.
Yeah, I understand, like, in previous years when it used to just be like, when Punk used to complain about it, like, work all year and then Taker or whoever shows up for one night. It's like, oh, cool, who's going to be there the next night, though? The next week, doing the towns and what have you. It's slightly different, especially with just the likes of Logan Paul and Cena potentially being hoyed onto the card. And I don't think many people can be like, I should be in that spot.
Yeah, I should take John Cena's spot.
Yeah.
I get it. I do get it with the part-timers and stuff, but like Logan Paul's a dickhead, but he's really good at this.
Brilliant.
So from my standpoint,
just go up to him backstage if you're annoyed and just say, you part-time.
You part-time.
Right, let's reveal some plans for the likes of Cody Rhodes, or at least what they were a while back. There's a really interesting collaboration, Andy, between WrestlingNews.co and Fightful Select. Have come through with a report about the likes of Cody and Bianca and Charlotte. Cody, apparently, was going to be involved, obviously. We always knew this, in a world title match. But as recently as November, WWE had planned on doing the old two different title matches. The Universal Championship match was down as Roman versus TBA/Cody Rhodes, and the other one, the WWE title, was going to be Seth Rollins versus maybe Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre, possibly. In terms of Charlotte Flair, the original plans for her was to have her return on Monday Night Raw. Now, obviously, that's been changed up. Flair came in, beat Ronda, now is going to face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. It's intriguing to see how plans can shift. Like, you would assume that they would be a bit more solidified in sort of late November for this sort of thing, but as we always say, plans change.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it should work. If something gets hot, that should be carried on. Obviously, now Rollins is going to do Logan Paul in that match, and then Drew and Sheamus, their tag team,
yes, of course, yeah,
a little bit, and you'll probably see them, I'd imagine, in the Intercontinental title scene somewhere. Yeah, cool. I think I like the way things have panned out, and I think that WrestleMania is shaping up to be pretty damn awesome. So I have no complaints whatsoever. I think it looks really good.
No, exactly. I think you could pluck about 5 different matches that I'm really looking forward to. And to be honest, no offense, I think they're preferable to the likes of Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, which would be good, but like Seth versus Logan Paul has a freak factor about it. Like, that's a freak show. And I'm just into that.
I'm glad they haven't done the split titles thing, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, maybe they'll do that after Mania. Maybe the Code Man will go, do one of his crazy melodramatic
just do
promos.
the Becky Lynch immediately after WrestleMania. Oh, you've immediately lost one of those titles.
I thought you were going to say Cody's pregnant. Like when she gave the title up to Asuka in the middle of the pandemic. Like, how would that work? It's not Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jr. Have you seen that film?
Yeah, I need to rewatch
Arnie flipping, I almost said effing. Arnie flipping
One day
Jr.
we're being good.
Yeah, we're not swearing today.
I might swear with this Davey Boy Smith Jr. story.
Yeah, it's pretty boring, I'm not going to lie. Kenny Omega, right, Pro Wrestling Torch Wade Keller has come through with a bit of an update on his situation. Kenny could become a free agent later this year. His contract was due to expire in February, that's this month, in AEW, but he had time added on due to injury. We know that. We learned that last week from Dave Meltzer. He told me personally. It was in The Observer. But Wade has a little bit of an update on the situation. Of course, WWE, they're going to make a bid for him because he's a big star in another company, so of course they're going to meet him. But Wade Keller's reporting here just on the interest levels and stuff. He can't verify independently that WWE is 100% interested in Omega, but Kenny is at least open-minded to the idea of heading there before he retires. On the other side of this equation, WWE doesn't believe that Kenny is operating under the mindset that he'll be with AEW forever. Kenny. Keller stated that people in WWE whose opinions count value Kenny Omega as a talent. That being said, the promotion doesn't necessarily see him as someone who's so good they need to spend everything in the world to get hold of him. WWE is very happy with their roster at the moment, it seems. Now, that being said, the company would be excited to explore creative options for Omega as a television weekly guy every week. Weekly, that's what that word means. But his push might not be as strong as that of Cody Rhodes, who's come in and gone straight to the moon, basically.
Yeah.
Because of wear and tear, contrasting levels there, perhaps. And Kenny is seen as less of a WWE-ready performer than Cody, which I think is quite a fair assessment. Even if I think the idea that he's not so good between the ropes that you wouldn't throw. That's a bit weird. He's one of the best wrestlers alive, man. Omega could become a free agent later this year. He's coming on 40. There you go. That's the latest. Look, my preference, I'd like him to stay where he is. I think he has more chances of having great matches in AEW than he does in WWE, because he's with AEW. He can go to Japan as well.
Yeah.
That's my preference. But free agents, test this side. Big deal. Get the best one.
It breaks my brain to think about Kenny Omega wrestling at like a WrestleMania.
It's weird, isn't it?
I can't picture it, if I'm perfectly honest. I think it would just be a bit like, what is this, the phrase, oil and water? They just don't really seem to go. I think this version of WWE would be far more receptive than a Vince McMahon version of WWE.
Vince would make him like a jester or something like that.
But I don't see it. Also, but however, having said that, I'm an agent of chaos, Andy, and if Kenny Omega left AEW and went to WWE before Fight Forever came out, that would be objectively funny.
It would be funny, wouldn't it? gee whiz, like the chaos everywhere would have been fun to consume. But yeah, I hope he stays where he is, because I think it's the best place for him.
And I have no doubt that Michael Hamflett will have more trolling, fishing tweets about him potentially working the undercard or whatever.
Should be some really good unbiased analysis there from old. He's literally the Intercontinental Champion.
Yes,
how can anyone take that guy seriously?
Right, let's talk about Davey Boy Smith Jr. and a new report from Fightful Select revealing that, when we talked about earlier, his return to WWE in 2021 may have had a little intriguing twist to it that was going to be pulled off. He was talking about it, and they commented, this Fightful Select, saying, when asked if he'd re-sign with WWE, he said that if he did, it would only be for the paycheck, and he didn't believe in his heart that it would be the content, he'd be into their content that they produce. But the gimmick...
When did he go back then?
Yeah. The gimmick that they had planned for him was the Stampede Stud, which he was actually pretty excited for. He thought his dark matches in the company went well, and he said that Vince McMahon told him he looked good. Smith was supposed to debut for the SmackDown brand before he was fired. It was weird. It was a weird time, that.
Deeply weird. I think harking back to his wrestling legacy with a Stampede Stud, assuming that's a nickname, not a ring name.
Never rule it out in Vince's time.
Makes sense, though. I think it's the calling on the guy's roots. Obviously, everyone knows who his father is. It's literally in his name. A weird situation. Brought him in for a couple of months, did one backstage interview on the YouTube channel and some dark matches, and then let him go. Strange.
He worked Starrcade, or I dreamed that.
I can't remember at all. Hope he's doing well.
Yes, exactly. And never more of a microcosm of WWE. Andy, great work on the website, great work on the news videos, great work on the face to cams this week. We're going to have to let you go. What?
Classic.
Anyway, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE, of course. If you want to get in touch with this first question today, comes from Stu Weezer, I don't know why I say it like that. Sorry,
what
Stu.
Was that voice?
Sorry, Stu. Who just writes, what say you, Muscle Man Bray Wyatt versus Big Bobby?
That'd be quite funny, actually. That might be the way to sell me on Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt. Yeah, do the Muscle Man dance. Why not?
I think our editor's a bit of a fan of the old Muscle Man version of Bray Wyatt.
He's just a big fan of Bray Wyatt in general, I think.
Yeah, but have you seen the thing from SmackDown last week?
I've not seen this fun fly house thing yet, but I want to see it. I'm obviously going to watch it.
Yeah,
because it's my job, but I've not seen it yet. What cooked?
I don't know why I'm surprised by it. It's not like the original ones. I still remember us being in attendance for Raw on the first one, and we thought it was some weird WWE shop advert.
Yeah.
We were like, sorry, that was a gimmick
for a toy buzzard.
But then again, I was completely wrong on that. I was like, well, that looks like a load of bollocks, and it was awesome. But it was it's one of those ones where I watched it last night, and I'm not 100% certain I didn't fall asleep halfway through and dream half it. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it. But we'll talk about it on the SmackDown Review podcast a little bit later on today.
There you go.
But yes, 100% in for that, Stu. Muscle Man Bray Wyatt. Just anything that keeps the weird Uncle Howdy bollocks at bay, to be perfectly honest.
Put Uncle Howdy in the bin.
Paul1921987. Oh, maybe that's his date of birth. 19/2/1987. That could make sense.
Fair.
Either that's just a collection of numbers, and usually these are the sort of people that send me abuse online.
Good year of birth, however.
Yeah. Paul says, right, who you got for the men's and women's Money in the Bank match? Love to know your thoughts on this.
I'm not too sure. You're going to fantasy book Sami Zayn,
correct,
100% for the men's one. Do we have many wriggly, rascally heels? I got one. Grayson Waller for the men's. Why not? He's a real pain in the ass of a character, and he'd fit that role well. And he's probably going to either lose to Shawn Michaels or Dragon Lee, whoever you. He'll beat Shawn Michaels if that happens. At what Standard delivers. So yeah, why not? I'm going to pick him. Who you got? Sammy,
obviously. Yeah. Women's wise, I don't know. I'm just going to maybe fall back onto my constant choices every year until it actually happens, and say Shayna Baszler. But when you pick someone from NXT, there, my brain went Tiffany Stratton.
Fair enough.
Because I love her, and
she could make it all fluffy and stuff.
Exactly.
The briefcase,
make it like a miniature one with a dog in it or something.
Yeah, give it to a Chihuahua. Yeah. Put it around the Chihuahua's.
Give it to the Chihuahua for the rest of the season.
Yeah, why not? I had some. Well, Bailey, she's a pain in the ass. Character-wise, so why not? Yeah. She doesn't need it, obviously, but it'd be fun.
I'm excited for Money in the Bank this year.
Should be good.
Yeah. Final question today, I love this one, comes from Mark Solid, who says, Morning Legends, if you could have one wrestling gift above your mantle forever, what would it be? Here's mine, lol. Nothing like a 4-way scissoring between best guy friends. And he shares, yes, it's the Acclaimed and the Guns back when they got on. And a lovely scissor.
Very nice. Shockmaster. It's a cliche. It's a total cliche, but it's the best. So, like, you could say, like, Mankind going off the top. Or,
yeah.
It's the
Rock
Shockmaster.
doing...
Yeah. My life is defined by calamity, and that is one of the greatest calamities of all time. So, there you go.
Yeah, I can literally hear the LA Knight yeah, gif. But for some reason, when I read this, I don't think this is technically wrestling, but it went to this. The Shawn Michaels looking at something through binoculars, smiling and putting sunglasses on gif.
Go for that.
Yeah, I just like that. And keep it nice, a discussion piece when people come round.
Yeah.
Come into the lounge. What do you reckon to the giant gif of Shawn Michaels?
What about Hulk Hogan burning the Wrestling Observer? That's a good
Yes.
one. Observe this, brother. Best thing of all time.
It's so random, isn't it? Honestly?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
anyway.
Kind of promo on Dave Meltzer.
Like,
what?
What are we doing here, guys? I thought we were...
Observe this, brother.
You're pulling the curtain back too much, Hulk. No, you're setting fire to it.
Take that. This printout.
Yes. Let's move on to today's and finally, because I don't really get to do this because I was off on Friday. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for their support of the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast over the last few years. Hard work from all of the guys here at WhatCulture. And we hit 50 million podcast listens on Friday. So thank you so much to everyone who's made that a possibility and supported us over the years. And yes, if you've not seen the tweet, the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast channel is coming soon to YouTube. More updates on that very, very soon. But yeah, awesome. Great news, that.
Good news across the board.
Yes.
Number one in the UK, number one in everyone's hearts. Maybe? I don't know.
We the ones.
Yep.
Still not allowing me to get that made on a t-shirt, bosses.
Well, we will get soon.
Yeah, it's a good point. Valid point.
Yeah. I don't have money in my budget for that, brother. Sorry.
I don't have money. End of sentence. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling
and
podcasts.
Eels.
And Eels.
He presented the news with me yesterday.
I saw he did a very good job.
No, he didn't.
Thoughts, Twitter questions, all that good stuff on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch, they can follow both of us. Follow Andy Murray
at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hoop 31. I think we're at 31.
Yeah.
Total rehoop.
Is the Hoop 10, 20, 30 always a technical, like Mania, always a technically based eel? I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
What are you on about? A technically based eel. Okay.
So you get with this news.
Yep.
At Adam Wilborn for me, at WhatCulture WWE for all of us. But for now, my thanks Andy Murray to the eel. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
It's got an iPad.
Whoa!